And keep calls, yeah.
John Roberts, thank you from the North Lawn.
For more, let's bring in Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace. He joins us now. Chris, I'm sure you've been watching every minute. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, how extraordinarily dramatic it is to see that kind of a roll call when you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and it's on an issue of such importance as in this case, ending the filibuster for a Supreme Court nomination, keeping the nomination alive, and to see anybody who's come to Washington as a tourist and sat in the Senate gallery, usually it's empty, and there are a couple of senators walking around, but to see all 100 senators in their chairs, at their desks, all of them voting in a roll call where you didn't know how it was going to turn out is really dramatic. So that is point one. Point two, it seems to me that this nomination is still on a razor's edge because, as has been pointed out by some of my colleagues, it doesn't always follow. I think Murkowski is gone. I don't see how somebody votes no on ending debate and then votes yes on the nomination. But people do sometimes vote yes to end the debate and then vote no on the actual nomination. And so this really does come down to a couple of key votes. For instance, let's say that Collins were to announce today at 3 p.m. that she's going to vote no on the actual nomination tomorrow. Well, then you say you got Manchin, you're still going to get to 50. Yes, Steve Daines has to fly back from his daughter's wedding in Montana. But that raises the question about Manchin. Everybody thought that Manchin might well vote for Kavanaugh if his vote weren't needed. In other words, if he weren't the key vote to put it over the top. But if Collins votes no, then Manchin is the difference between success or failure here. And if he votes no, then the nomination is gone. So it seems to me this is still on a razor's edge.
We are hearing that Joe Manchin's about to put out a statement. Apparently that's what he's telling reporters in Capitol Hill. Chris, and you think about what his political calculus is. He has what appears to be an 8-point lead over Patrick Morrisey, the current Attorney General in West Virginia. And if what I referenced 10 minutes ago is the movement in that North Dakota poll, you know politicians pay attention to these numbers, and he has to be looking at that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I met with a Republican senator yesterday, and I asked him why Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota would vote no, because she announced yesterday she was going to vote no on Kavanaugh, which would be an unpopular vote in a state that favors Donald Trump so heavily. In the latest Fox News poll, she's down by 12 points, and who knows what's in Heidi Heitkamp's mind. Some people suggest maybe she voted no because that's her conscience. One hopes that's the decision. But this Republican senator has suggested to me maybe she understands she's not going to win anyway, that the race is lost, and she's decided she wants to vote where her supporters are because it's not going to make a difference in her election. That's a very different situation from Joe Manchin. This is clearly going to be a very key political calculation, in addition to a calculation of what his principles are and what he believes when it comes to Brett Kavanaugh.
What do you think brought at least these three undecided senators to a yes, and I say at least today in this procedural vote? We'll see what happens tomorrow in the statements that are about to be made and come out on behalf of some of them. You know, what got them to that point, you think? I mean, you had the president in that campaign rally. You had the Wall Street Journal op-ed written by Judge Kavanaugh said, I said a few things I should not have. Do you think there was any one thing that helped push some of those senators to a yes?
Yes, I do. I think it's the FBI investigation. And I think that, with this 1 week extended FBI background check, and you heard the Democrats, a lot of complaints. It wasn't thorough. They didn't talk to everybody that they could have, didn't pursue all the leads. But the fact is that they did a 1 week investigation. They talked to 9 witnesses. They got a written statement from a 10th. They did pursue people on both the Ramirez charge, the Yale charge, as well as the Christine Blasey Ford charge. And there was no corroboration from either of the female accusers. So I think that was, and it was interesting yesterday after Susan Collins said, look, I think this is a thorough investigation. Late yesterday afternoon, she went into the SCIF, the secure, compartmentalized, secure area where they had 1 copy of the report, and she spent 2 hours reading it. And I think that in the end, that gave both her and Flake and probably Manchin, who also spent time yesterday and this morning in the SCIF reading it, satisfaction that there is not something out there. Obviously, people are always going to complain that you could have done more in an investigation, but the fact that this came back with a clean bill of health, I think, was probably the deciding factor.
Chris Wallace, thank you very much, and be sure to tune into Fox News.